Hello friends, today's topic is bacteria. In this video, today I will discuss about its morphology and its cell wall structure. Bacteria are microscopic single-celled organisms that exist in their millions in every environment, both inside and outside the organism. Some bacteria are harmful, but some are beneficial also. They support us in many forms. Do you know that bacteria are thought to have the first organism to appear on Earth about 4 billion years ago? The oldest known fossil are a bacteria-like organism. Bacteria can use most organic and inorganic compound for their food source, and they can survive in extreme conditions also. Now about its cell structure. They are single-celled organism. That means each bacterium is made up of only one cell. This is very different from human. Bacterial cells are much more smaller than human cell. It can measure about 1 to 10 micrometer long. Most of them are only about 1 to 2 micrometer in diameter. Now let's know about its structure one by one. First, pili. It is a hair-like structure that help bacteria to attach surfaces. Then plasmid. It is a genetic material. Then ribosomes. It is a structure that make protein. Next, it has cytoplasm. It is a gel-like material in which the ribosome and genetic material are suspended. Cytoplasmic membrane. It is a thin layer of phospholipids and protein that control the movement of nutrients in and out of the cell. Then about cell wall. It is a rigid wall that gives the cell a structure and protects the plasma membrane. Now about its capsule. It is a third layer that helps to prevent the bacteria from drying out and being engulfed by a large macromolecule that is present in some type of bacteria. Next about nucleate. It is a mass of genetic material. Next, flagellum. It is a structure that helps the bacteria to move from one place to another and also helps them to sense their environment. Next, about its shape. It can be in the form of sphere, which is known as cocci, or rods. It is known as bacilli, or spirals. Next, we will talk about its type. On the basis of gram stain, it is divided into two groups. That is, one is gram positive and one is gram negative. In gram positive, its peptidoglycan layer is thick, and in gram negative, its peptidoglycan layer is thin. Now about its cell wall structure. Gram positive bacteria has a thick peptidoglycan layer, and whereas gram negative bacteria has a thin peptidoglycan layer. This peptidoglycan is essential and specific component of the bacterial cell envelope. It forms a mesh-like structure outside the cytoplasmic membrane and is responsible for rigidity and shape of bacterial cell, and it can protect them from osmotic disruption. This peptidoglycan is a heteropolymer that consists of a glycan strand that are cross-linked by a peptide. This glycan backbone is composed of a altering unit of NAM and NAG, which is linked by beta 1,4 glycosidic bond. And what is NAM? NAM is a N-acetylmuramic acid, and NAG is a N-acetylglucosamine acid. Next, the peptide subunit usually contain 4 alternative L and D amino acids and are connected to the glycan strand by a lactyl group of N-acetylmuramic acid residues. This cross-linking of the glycan strand generally occurs between the carboxyl group of D-alanine at position 4 and the amino group of the D amino acid at position 3, either directly or through a short peptide bridge. It is a 3D cross-link structure. Therefore, it is typically an insoluble polymer. Structural analysis of peptidoglycan usually involves hydrolysis to amino acids, peptides, and amino sugars, or enzymatic digestion of glycan strand to muropeptides. in order to obtain structural information from its constituent. So this is all about peptidoglycan structure analysis. Next about the nutritional types of bacteria. Bacteria differ in their nutritional requirement. The differences among the bacteria are species to species. A systematic approach for the nutritional classification of bacteria was first made by Monod. Among various requirements for nutrition, characteristic differences existence for the requirement of sources of energy, electron donor and carbon. Therefore, bacteria are classified in various categories on the basis of this requirement. Now, based on energy, it has phototrophs, chemotrophs and hypotrophs. Now about phototrophs. These are the bacteria which obtain energy from radiant energy, that is light. For example, cyanobacteria, green sulfur bacteria, purple sulfur bacteria, purple non-sulfur bacteria. Next about chemotrophs. These are bacteria which obtain energy by oxidizing chemicals. Upon oxidation of chemicals, chemical energy is released. It is trapped in ATP molecule during biochemical reaction and is made available for cellular properties. For example, nitrifying bacteria, iron obtained bacteria, hydrogen bacteria. These are some examples of chemoautotrophs. Next is about hypotrophs. These are organisms which cannot utilize any external source of energy. This is because of their inability to synthesize ATP. They require ready-made ATP for growth. It may be obtained from other living host cell. Thus, these organisms grow as parasites, for example, viruses and rickettsia. Next, classification on the basis of source of electron donor. On the basis of type of electron donor utilized, bacteria can be classified into two categories, that is, lithotroph and organotrophs. Lithotrophs are those bacteria which can utilize inorganic substances as an electron donor. They oxidize selective inorganic substances and can generate necessary reducing power required by the biosynthesis. Inorganic substances used as electron donor by organisms include sulfur compound, ferrous salt, ammonia, ammonium and molecular hydrogen. Next is about organotrophs. These bacteria can generate their reducing power from oxidation of various organic compounds. Next, classification on the basis of carbon sources. In that case, bacteria also processes characteristic differences on their requirement of substances which is used as a source of carbon in their nutrition. Accordingly, they can be classified into three categories, that is autotrophs, heterotrophs and paratrophs. Next is about autotrophs. These are bacteria which can use inorganic carbon compound as the carbon source in their nutrition. They mostly use carbon dioxide. They fix carbon dioxide and reduce it into cellular organic matter. Usually they fix carbon dioxide by Kelvin cycle or reductive TCA cycle. Next is about heterotrophs. These bacteria obtain their carbon from various organic substances ranging from methane to paraffin. Majority of bacteria fall in this category. Next, about paratrophs. Certain bacteria lack biosynthetic abilities and are not able to use non-cellular organic and inorganic carbon compound. That means they need ready-made organic molecules which is assimilated directly during their cellular synthesis. Thus, from here it is clear that bacteria differ in their nutritional category. So, this is all about today's lecture. Thank you for watching this video.